Hi, I'm Laura Miller, and I'm today's guest on Exposition with your lovely hosts, Valerie and Kelsey. Please stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Exposition.
Hello.
We're so excited today. We're having Laura Miller and Sparkle Productions on as our guest today. And today we have our co-host Kelsey Kerr, who is also considered something in the what do you call him?
One of the directors. We go by so many titles.
I know, I can't keep track.
Yep, I'm here to co-host today, so I'm excited about that and to talk to Laura Miller.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this coming Saturday, we have our very first performance art production that Laura is going to be a co-star in, and we can't wait to talk to her all about that and how she came to be in the place she is today in the arts, performing and visual. And here she is, Laura Miller.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, yeah. Oh.
She is helping us with our ever-growing organization involved in arts and culture of all different sorts. We started as a market, out of the shop, out of the studio, out of the gallery. So she's helping us expand, and this will be our first ever play that we're involved with at our location. So
749 3rd Avenue, Gallipolis, Ohio. That's Gallipolis, Ohio.
So, Laura, tell us about all the different types of arts you're involved in. We know you're a performing artist, but just tell us, you know, all the hats that you wear.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on Exposition.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited to be working with the Artisan Shop and Studio and being their first production there. I've lived in this area only about 2 years, and my entire life I've followed some sort of creative pursuit, whether it be writing, acting, painting. And when I moved to this area, I looked and tried to find ways that I could be involved in acting. And traditionally that's through community theater. Right. And I did a couple shows with the River City Players up in Middleport. I also did a couple shows with the Riverby Theater Guild out of French Art Colony here in Gallipolis. And then I also did a show with Apple City Players up in Jackson. But the parts for women, the parts for adults have slowly dwindled. And I thought, hey, I want to act in shows, I want to produce shows, plays that involve adults, that involve women. And so I thought, ooh, do I dare? And so I formed a company called Sparkle Productions. And it's in its infancy. And like I said, the inaugural production will be at the Artisan Shop and Studio this Saturday, February 16th. The show is entitled Love Letters. And I am acting in it as well with another actor named Mike Kennedy, who is from Middleport. And I got off topic there because I'm so excited about promoting Love Letters, but a little bit of my background. Like I said, I've always been creative. My outlets have mainly been through acting, but also in writing. I've been a stringer reporter, which in essence is a part-time reporter for a couple different newspapers. I do my own painting, self-taught, so it makes me happy. And I think that's really what art is about, is if it makes you happy, then do it. And so ever since I was a child, I loved crafting, I loved painting, I loved writing. I'd write my own skits, acting in performances when I would go to the theater with my mom, who was very involved, acting, directing, behind the scenes in community theater. I just kind of rode her coattails and have been doing that. My first production when I was 6 years old in The King and I, a famous musical, and I was one of the children in that. And then pretty much have done something at least every year for the last 45 years almost, which kind of dates me. But yeah, and so, you know, moving here to Southeast Ohio, going back to what I said, trying to find those opportunities, I said, hey, I need to make my own opportunities.
You betcha.
And so that's why I thought about forming and have formed Sparkle Productions. But then I met lovely Valerie here, the very first show that I did here, the Dixie Swim Club, which the other 4 actresses and the director and our stage manager, everyone was absolutely wonderful. And that was with Riverby Theater Guild. And Valerie was in the audience, and she came up to me afterwards and hugged me and congratulated us on our performance. And I thought, this lady, I love her. Aww. And then I found out that she and her daughter Kelsey had this organization that promoted the arts. And so it's been about 2 years talking with her about performing, and I've finally been ready to do that. And so they moved to their new space on 3rd Avenue, and they said, hey, we're ready. We have a place for performance art. And I said, yes, let's do it.
Oh, we're so honored.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, it sounds like you've had so much experience, a lifetime of experience. Is there a certain genre that you lean towards? It seems like you're probably pretty well-rounded, but what would you say your favorite genre is?
I have to say that I lean more towards some of the classics. I mean, I love Neil Simon, classics of the theater, Neil Simon, Cat and Hot Tin Roof, so that's Tennessee Williams. Some of kind of these are heavy hitters. I like drama and comedy, but not silly comedy, something that the audience can really connect to, and characters that are deep, meaty roles that actors can really sink their teeth into. I'm all for producing professionally, acting professionally, even in amateur scope. So,
did you say something about the production after Love Letters that you were thinking about?
Yes, so Sparkle Productions, like I said, is in its infancy, so I'm just starting to feel my way with this, and I'm starting with something simple, Love Letters. It's a 2-person play, a man and a woman, and they read letters back and forth. This correspondence that covers 50 years of their life. And A.R. Gurney, the playwright, actually wrote the play to be written with no set, so the 2 actors sit there on stage literally reading the letters. So in terms of a first show, it was attractive because there wasn't a long rehearsal process. We met a few times. There's no change of costumes. There's no scenery, so there's no set to change. And in terms of those things, it was simple, and it works perfectly with the artisan shop space. My next production, I am thinking of doing The Belle of Amherst, and I've already started preparing. It is a 1-woman show, so that's about 70 pages of monologues.
Wow.
And The Belle of Amherst is written by William Luce. It is about Emily Dickinson and her life. and I am producing that, and that will be the next show that will show in either April or May. So you definitely need to keep your eyes on Facebook and the newspaper for when the exact date of that production will be.
Great. We can't
Yeah. Speaking of Facebook and the and newspapers, so when I tackled this, you know, my first thought was like, yay, I'm going to act in shows, I'm going to produce shows and have some artistic control over the types of shows and what's happening. But it also entails a lot of marketing, which I'm sure you all have been through that process, and you realize how much time and effort it takes to market yourself and to market your show and market your mission. And with your mission being promoting artists and artisans and artistes, it's a full-time job. And I admire that. And speaking of that, my show will not only provide a night of entertainment, but the money that I'm raising is also going to support the mission of the Artisan Shop and Studio, as well as funds going to the American Cancer Society. So that's another aspect of Sparkle Productions, is that I'm hoping for it to be fundraising efforts with different productions.
That's wonderful.
And that's in conjunction with another thing you're involved in, the River City Runners, right?
She's like fit and trim and fit. And
so my 2 years here, you know, when people complain, oh, there's nothing to do, I say no. In 2 years, I have found so much to be involved with, and there's so much going on with the Artisan Shop, with the classes that they offer. I've joined River City Runners, which is a group designated or designed to raise money for cancer research, and they support different races throughout the year.
That's so great.
I know, and a lot of their money is channeled to the American Cancer Society. Kick cancer's butt.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
And then, like I said, with community theater. But there's so many opportunities here, and I just see it growing.
What I know about you is we love we love animals, and you have spent such a great amount of time taking good care and giving such love to our local canine shelter, and you go and you walk the dogs and you give them all that one-on-one time, and that's one huge thing in my heart that you do, that I'm so grateful for you.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I plan on doing a future show that will benefit either the SNAP program, the spay and neuter program that's here in Gallia County.
That's wonderful.
That anyone can access to spay and neuter your cats and dogs.
And vaccinate too, I think.
Vaccination, rabies. It's simply you fill out a form, and that's found on Facebook. I become a volunteer at the canine shelter in Gallia County. And so my time and energy and money have gone to them, as well as to the arts in Gallia County. And so there's so much going on here. I mean, this is the place to be in Ohio.
Oh, thank you. Isn't it awesome?
Yes.
But you have to be proactive.
You do have to be proactive.
You have to look for what you're interested in. If you don't find what you're interested in or what you want to be involved with, then
you start it.
You do it.
You
just do it. You do it, and then eventually it happens, and you just have to be committed and passionate like you are. And that way, things happen, and we stick around as long as we can, as long as our community, supports us. And
that's one of my mottos, to be engaged in life.
And
instead
excite
of sitting at
others.
Home.
Right, to do the same.
And until you start something like this, I'm sure you had no idea, starting 5 years ago, what the community, what the community would think of that and how we would be received.
Exactly.
And so it's really scary to start something.
It's been a learning process.
And I feel like with Sparkle Productions that I'm not in competition with any of the other community theaters that are in the area.
Right.
Instead, I feel like we can all cohabitate here in Gallia County together.
Yes, us and we, not us and them.
Right, because everybody has a different sort of a focus.
Yes.
And like I said, my focus is more on theater that involves adults, for adult audiences, fundraisers, classics, and I know some of the other theaters tend to focus or involve more children, and that's great because then that's their niche. Right. And so it is possible to have all of this because it makes Gallia County thrive even that much more,
and
it brings people here.
You know, don't you think it's just
complementary. Yep.
Yes.
It's like any type of art, you can have this one subject and a bunch of different painters or different type of artists. It'll all come out different because that's from that person and their perspective, their interest, their style. So it's very cool. I know you brought some pictures with you.
I did.
Before we get into that, I just wanted to ask you, did you have a certain disguise or, you know, character that you dressed up as with a certain wig or anything?
So some of the pictures that you'll be seeing are from various shows that I've done in my past. Some of my favorite characters have been Maggie on a Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. The particular picture you're seeing now was called A Christmas Chaos, and I actually had to I was two characters in one, and it was a comedy. I know. It was just such a fun role. It was a comedy, and we were actors, or we were non-actors who had to fill in for real actors to do a Christmas Carol. And so in this picture, I am Bob and Mrs. Cratchit all in the same time.
We have, real quick, we have some... No.
Well, real quick though, I can tell you about some of my other photos. So this is from Gypsy, and I am one of the dancers, and you can see my costume lights up. But this was such a fun role because I didn't have to sing pretty. Here again, this was a show that was written by a friend of mine, and I was in disguise, and so thus I have the mustache.
You're so handsome.
Yes. Here's one of my most favorite roles of all time, Mrs. Franck in The Diary of Anne Frank. And I can't say it was fun to do the role because it was so emotionally exhausting after each performance. But I loved that role. Here, I played Helga, and I was actually a Helga, but I was actually my twin brother who I had killed, Dieter, and so I was dressed as him, and I got to play the murderer in the musical comedy, the comedy musical Murders of 1948. Something like that title, and so this was just a really fun role, and of course this was a Neil Simon show called Plaza Suite. And here's my husband and myself. You can see I have a little extra padding around the middle.
I should say.
And that's what's great about acting. You just become these other people.
Anybody.
And here, I got to show off my shape a little more. And this was in a comedy called Run for Your Wife. And it was a British show. I had to have a British accent. And the young man had two wives. I was one of them, and then there was another woman.
Shame on you.
And then this one, I actually did this show twice, the Dixie Swim Club, once here in Gallia County, and this was us at the very end where we had to be it was projected into the future. We had to be old, and so that was fun to wear a costume and add the makeup.
Were you the same character?
No, I was a different character in each one.
Nice.
There's a classic by Henrik Ibsen called Hedda Gabler, and I played Thea Elfsted. I'm sitting on the couch there. But you can see it's run the gamut from comedies to musicals. There I am in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Nice.
There I'm playing Mama. I was a German Mama in War Games, War Grooms, excuse me, that a local friend had written.
Nice.
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But now I'm so excited. So that's my past, but I'm really looking forward to my future with Sparkle Productions. And the reason I called it Sparkle Productions, so Sparkle is the name of my black cat, who is 15 years old this May.
Sweet.
And she's been with me through thick and thin. And yeah, she's one of my best friends. And I thought, what a way to honor her. And also then the word sparkle, when you're on stage, you know, being able to sparkle and shine for the audience. They're paying their money and you want to give them the best performance you can give them. And so that's all part of why I came up with the name Sparkle. And
you do all the time. You do on, off stage, just, you know, being with you is always such a positive, lovely time, and always feel good afterwards that, you know, we've spent the time together.
Thank you. And you remind me sometimes, so I'm a teacher also, and I actually teach writing at University of Rio Grande, but I've also substitute, and I've taught high school and middle school. And being that positive person, it will rub off on other people.
Yes.
I've discovered people who go around gloomy and, you know, sad-faced, and we all have stories. We all have stuff going on. But I try to keep that positive attitude, and so hopefully it will infect other people.
I know.
And
it does. It does. And even though some people might roll their eyes and think we're silly or ridiculous, I know they walk away with a little chuckle or like a little smirk, you know, because it's good to just, if it's all good and
it's so good,
positive.
Yes, the way the world is right now, with so much negativity. Anytime we can focus on positive, we should.
And love, love letters. Can't wait.
I know.
Well, we have some of your paintings that you've done.
This is lovebirds. I got into a phase of
so
Valentine-inspired and love-inspired drawings and paintings, and so some of what you're seeing is from that. This is called Red Carpet.
Nice.
And I like to take pieces and combine them sometimes in my art.
What's your favorite medium? Do you mostly work with like acrylic or
I
oil?
mainly work with acrylic, and then I also like to infuse texture. So, for example, like this one, I have a molding clay that I used, and so if you see it in person, you can actually see the raised surfaces of it.
Nice.
And I like to incorporate other, like, pieces of cards or other pieces, so like a collage.
Yes. Mixed media.
Mixed media.
Your art seems to reflect who you are, the colors you use, your subjects, and
bright and
the
cheery.
style. So that's very cool.
You can see more of the heart. And I speak some French, and so you can see l'amour and what's nice is that in this show, Love Letters, that's being performed February 16th, 7:30 p.m. at the Artisan Club,
I like
shop and studio.
That's a new one.
My character, Melissa, I get to use some of my French. So there are definitely some French words and sayings in it that I get to read and speak. So
Yay.
I really like that. And then here's my little fleur-de-lis.
That's French.
Yes, it's a really big painting.
Nice.
5 feet by 4 feet.
Look at this.
And this little fleur-de-lis, those were inspired by moving to Gallipolis and it being the city of the Gauls and a French settlement.
Yes, French 500.
Right. And again, l'amour equals la vie, life is love. And
That's awesome. Nice. Look at that.
So how often would you say you paint? Is it just when you get in the mood, or is that just a regular?
I have spurts. This is one that I actually did with Valerie at one of her classes at the artisan shop.
Yes.
And I was especially proud of the butterfly.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I was like, I love that.
Look at you.
But to answer Kelsey's question, I go in spurts. And because I have so many different projects, and with teaching, sometimes my writing will take a back burner. I do triathlons, and so this one with the bicycle was inspired by my biking many hours. But I go in spurts.
Yeah, your creative outlets pop up as you need them. Like, I need to write right now, or I need to paint right now.
Yes, I need to run right now.
And then Paris, so.
Yay!
Yeah, so that's
French. Paris. Yes. Oh my, well this has been so exciting. I can't believe
I've been so
happy.
excited to be able to talk and
love it.
Promote Sparkle Productions, and especially the first production, which is Love Letters, February 16th at 7:30 p.m. You can buy tickets online. That's the best way because it lets me know how many people are coming.
Yes.
There is no fee. www.theartisanshop.org. That's SHOPPE.org. And it's under classes. And tickets are $10. You can also pay at the door. I will also have a basket if you would like to contribute more. Donations will go directly to the American Cancer Society.
That is so
For
perfect.
Sparkle Productions, do you have a Facebook page or any social media yet, or is that
I am
future?
developing that,
Okay.
and I am hoping then, yes, I will definitely be having that social media presence.
Great.
I think that's so important.
Yes.
We will
it is.
Getting the
definitely
word
share
out.
it on the Artisan
Yes.
Shop page. So if anybody is looking forward to all of her upcoming projects, then we will definitely share when she has her Sparkle Productions page established and everything.
Yes, because I'm hoping, organizations who want skits for their Christmas parties or for meetings, or organizations want to raise money for scholarships. I'm available. I can work with you.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me on Exposition. I've really enjoyed my time with you.
And it's been nice to co-host when I don't usually
Thank
do
you for
that.
co-hosting.
Yeah, Kelsey.
Well, make sure you tune in next time on Exposition. Thank you.